The auction hall was enormous, spanning several kilometers, its ceilings lost in shadow, and its floor a mosaic of alien metals and holographic lights. Rows upon rows of beings from countless worlds crowded the area, their eyes fixed on the stage where the latest batch of exotic commodities was displayed. To them, these were treasures, prizes, or curiosities, living beings stripped of choice and freedom. Among the array of contestants, most were obedient, docile, and compliant, qualities that guaranteed a high price. But at the very end of the line stood one who refused to fit any mold. She was small, barely human-sized, with silver-tinted skin that shimmered faintly under the hall's light. Her eyes glowed like molten gold, sharp and intelligent. Every muscle in her body radiated tension, defiance, and an untamable spirit. The announcer's voice, amplified across the hall, boomed. Final lot. The untamable one. No one has been able to break her. Who will take the challenge? Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many laughed. She's worthless, one alien whispered. Too rebellious, too dangerous, said another. One by one, the bidders walked away, unwilling to risk the loss of their investments. From the back of the hall, a human stepped forward. He was unassuming, tall, lean, with worn clothes and a calm expression, but there was a sharpness in his eyes that spoke of experience, of survival. His name was Kale, a human wanderer who had traveled the stars more out of necessity than adventure. Yet there was something about her, something in the way she refused to bow or flinch, that drew him in. Do you intend to buy her? One of the auctioneers sneered, noting the human's interest. You'll be wasting your credits. Kale's lips curved into a faint smile. I don't waste what I understand, he replied quietly. The hammer descended, the lights flared, and with a single gesture, Kale became the owner of the alien girl. A ripple of shock ran through the hall. No one had expected a human to take her, especially not someone so ordinary in appearance. The girl's eyes widened as she looked at him, suspicion and curiosity mingling in her gaze. The journey back to Kale's ship was tense. She was silent at first, her muscles coiled as if ready to spring. Kale, however, was patient. I'm not going to hurt you, he said gently. But I need you to trust me, at least enough to not tear the ship apart. She laughed softly, a sound like chimes broken in the wind. You think I'll ever trust a human? They all see me as a prize, a toy. What makes you different? I don't see you as a toy, Kale replied honestly. I see you as someone who deserves a choice. That seemed to give her pause. Her eyes, molten gold, studied him with an intensity that made Kale's chest tighten. There was a history there, one forged not through violence or control, but through stubborn survival and spirit. Days passed aboard the ship. Kale provided her with food, water, and space, but did not try to force her into compliance. At first, she remained distant, observing him with a wary curiosity. But gradually, she began to talk about her home world, about the clan she had lost, about the humans and aliens who had abandoned her. I've been through more than you can imagine, she said one night, her voice a whisper as they watched the stars pass by. And yet, somehow you haven't tried to control me. Kale smiled faintly. Because I know strength isn't measured by obedience. It's measured by choice. She blinked at him, a small, almost imperceptible nod acknowledging the truth in his words. Their bond grew slowly, forged in mutual respect and understanding. Kale learned her name, Lyria, and discovered her uncanny intelligence, her agility, and her fierce courage. In turn, Lyria saw in Kale a kind of humanity she had never expected, resourceful, resilient, compassionate, and unyielding in the face of adversity. One day, As the ship entered a contested sector known for pirate activity, the quiet tension was broken by alarms. A fleet of raiders had detected their presence. Cale didn't hesitate. He grabbed a weapon, prepared the ship's defenses, and ordered Lyria to stay behind. "I can fight too," she protested. "You'll be a target," Cale said firmly. "I need you safe." But Lyria's response was a nod, not of submission, but of trust. She knew that Cale would not send her into danger lightly. And when the raiders breached the shields, Cale fought with unmatched precision and bravery, protecting the ship and Lyria with every ounce of his skill. After the battle, as silence returned to the void of space, Lyria approached him. Her silver skin glowed faintly under the emergency lights. She studied him, eyes filled with something Cale hadn't expected: admiration, gratitude, and something else, deeper and more fragile. "You didn't have to save me," she said softly. "But you did." "Why?" Cale looked at her, tired but steady. "Because no one should be abandoned, not even the Untamable." For the first time since the auction, Lyria smiled, not the defiant smile she wore to mask her fears, but a genuine smile, one that carried relief, trust, and the faintest hint of affection. Months later, they returned to a neutral colony, seeking supplies and information. The word of their journey had spread. Stories of the human who had claimed the untamable alien girl began circulating in hushed tones across starports. Some whispered it was foolishness, others called it bravery. But none could deny the bond that had formed between them, a human who had refused to let go and an alien girl who had learned to trust. Lyria stood beside Cale as he negotiated for supplies. Her posture was relaxed, confident. She no longer flinched when humans or aliens approached. She had found someone who saw her not as a prize, but as a being worthy of respect and partnership. "You know," she said, glancing at him with a faint smirk, "I could have easily escaped, but I chose to stay." Cale raised an eyebrow, a grin forming. "And I could have let you go, but I chose to hold on." They both laughed softly, the sound echoing through the busy spaceport. In that moment, it was clear. The auction may have tried to strip her of her freedom, but it had also brought her to the one person who truly understood her spirit. And in the endless expanse of space, where empires rose and fell, Lyria and Cale forged a bond that no one could break. The untamable alien girl had found her place, not as a commodity, not as a prize, but as a partner in life, adventure, and love.